We have another card from Destined Rivals being revealed. Now, this is the Nidoking full art, and we do know that we are going to be getting a special illustration rare of Nidoking, but is it going to be enough? We still haven't seen the full set reveal. We should see it this week, but is it going to be enough with the Nidoking, the Moltres, and the Mewtwo SIRs? Is it going to be enough for this set to be good, or is it going to be a disappointment? That's what we're talking about in this video. But I want to say that off the bat, as far as a full art goes, I do like this full art with Giovanni in the background right here, and I like the purple color palette that they have going on. I do think it's a nice looking full art. Initially, when they started doing this style, I kind of was like, I don't really like it as much, but it started to grow on me a little bit more as the more I see them. So, this is a card I'm looking forward to seeing the SIR of. So I am excited to see what they do. I do think that a Nidoking card could be very cool. The last one that we really saw was 151. It was an illustration rare, and albeit, it's a nice looking illustration rare. Nothing wrong with it. I do like it, but it maybe left a little bit to be desired. As I feel like Nidoking is kind of one of those cooler Pokemon that could have had maybe a little bit cooler art style. But he's just chilling here. It's a nice looking card, but I wanted a little bit more from it. So hopefully we'll get that in the SIR. Maybe a little bit darker. I don't know. I think they could have done a darker ambiance could be cool for the SIR. And we have seen, Giovanni's Nidoking in the past. If you aren't familiar, this is vintage gym challenge right here. So a lot of vintage cards do hold a very special place in my heart. I have a lot of nostalgia for the older era cards, and this being one of them. I remember seeing this card a lot as a kid growing up, Giovanni's Nidoking. So I'm very excited to see what they do moving forward. And hopefully they hit it out of the park. And then we're going to do some speculation about the other cards as well, and then kind of talk about the set as a whole. Like, is it going to be enough? But before we go any further, I wanted to talk about the sponsor of today's video, which is Misprint. Misprint is a commerce platform where you can buy or sell your graded Pokemon cards, or even they have sealed product as well. And they operate a little bit differently. They kind of do a bid and an ask system. You can see currently active bids, active asks, active orders, and you can apply to sell on here. One of the things that I was very important to me when Misprint reached out was I wanted to know about their seller fees, because me as a seller, I sell on eBay. But the seller fees are important because eBay fees can be very high, and they are lower than eBay. They are at 10% seller fees. So that is a big win in my book, and they're a growing platform. So it's a great place to pick up graded and sealed product, and you can throw in a bid, throw in an ask. If you're familiar with the stock market, it's kind of how their system works, but you can just buy it now for a lot of these things. And if we scroll down, you can see obviously they have the latest set, Journey Together. You got Grail cards, Biggest Chases, newly listed. They do have a Discord community as well. So Misprint, and then I wanted to search something up and just kind of see. Also, their search engine, it pulls up stuff very quickly. I just typed in Prismatic, and this was what first came in off the bat, and I wanted just to check out some of the pricing. And you can see this is the stamped Pokemon Center Eevee here, and then you have the non-stamped here. So PSA 10, PSA 9 over here, and a PSA 10. If you wanted to just buy this card outright right now, you're looking at $620. If you wanted to sell it immediately, you're looking at a $410, but you could put in a bid or an ask on this. Also, they have PC ETBs. This is what you're looking at for pricing, and then regular ETBs for buying or selling as well. So low seller fees, sealed and slabs. They also have a system where as the seller, they have an Android and iPhone app as well, but you can take a picture of 20 plus PSA graded cards if you do a lot of graded, and it will just automatically pull all the information, pull the photos and everything for you automatically. So you could take one photo and list 20 or more graded cards. So that's a very convenient feature. And then something else that I like a lot is they have this Misprint Misprice. It's like a weekly giveaway, and it's free to enter. And if you win, you get it for the Misprice right here, which is $5 for, right now it's a Charmeleon illustration rare in a PSA 10. So all you have to do is you can refer friends, and then you get more chances to enter. So it's free to gain some entries here, and then you can get the card for $5. So, and you can see where it ends right here, April 20th. So I did think that was a cool little side thing, just like a weekly giveaway that they do, which I think is super cool. So, another like little way, and you can kind of see what your chances are, how many people have entered. So that's cool as well. So check out Misprint for buying, selling, graded, or sealed product, and then also the giveaway. I think it's a nice little touch. But let's get back to the video. I wanted to talk last thing, the Nidoking, real quick. So this is probably one of my favorite Nidokings. This is from Aquapolis. But big note, I'm a sucker for just e-reader cards in general. I think they're kind of cool and unique. But I like this pose of the Nidoking as well, and obviously all that vintage holo stuff for me. It's not really about the price right now. Like obviously this is a more expensive card. You can see on TCG Player only like 2 sales in the past year. But a little bit of nostalgia, right, for me from the Nidoking side. So we'll see how it goes. I am excited to see what they do with it moving forward. And we have seen prices start to come down on Destined Rivals a little bit on the booster boxes. We touched on this recently. We won't go too in depth, but you can see the price is still very expensive, right? $275. But that's kind of been the floor and the selling price for a little bit now. So the booster box. Too, speaking of the set and like can it live up to the hype, the booster box I think is a nice looking booster box. It looks totally fine. Obviously they featured Giovanni and Mewtwo on the front here, and then the other Rocket stuff at the top. But a lot of people wanted just like the black box with the R, and I think like honestly, I think they really nailed the ETB look, because for me, like it really does. Like obviously you have Giovanni and Mewtwo on here as well, but you got the black box with the red R on the side, and obviously the red R in the background. So I do think that looks wise, they really did nail the ETB. So a lot of people were wanting that, and maybe they didn't get it from the booster box. But I think the booster box is nice enough, and the ETB really stands out as a nice display piece. And the ETBs have come down, but not quite as much. Obviously still extremely expensive right now. We are a ways out from the English set. Now the Glory of Team Rocket, which is the second set that's coming into Destined Rivals, should be coming out this week, and that's when we're going to get any day now. We really should be getting the Mewtwo and the other cards. We're going to do some speculating on that, but ETBs are kind of right around 160 right now, and they've been there since April 6th is when they hit 160. So they've been slowly declining and declining. We'll see where it all bottoms out. Obviously very expensive. It's still going to be difficult to get. It's hard to get your hands on any product at a reasonable price. But people are starting to see, I'm starting to see more comments, and let me know if you guys agree or disagree. And we still haven't seen the full set, right? So things can change, and that's what we're talking about. But people are starting to go, it looks like a little bit of a disappointment, looks like a little bit of a letdown, specifically on the Rocket side, because people had very high expectations. But I do think visually with the box, I think they hit it out of the park. And can the Rockets, Mewtwo, the Moltres, and the Nidoking, the ones that we really haven't seen, and there's others we haven't seen as well, but those are kind of the big ones in my eyes. Can it be enough to redeem that and get it into that like top tier echelon? Now, we can speculate a little bit. This is what we've seen from Rocket's Mewtwo in the past. Gym challenge right here. The pose isn't really anything crazy, but once again for me, looking through the nostalgia goggles, this is extremely nostalgic for me with the Rockets Mewtwo. So a nice looking card, right? But it's going to depend on what they do moving forward. Obviously, they're not going to go off of this. It's not going to look anything like this. But they have done some other really cool Mewtwo cards more recently that we can talk about. And I don't know what their approach is that they're going to take, but this is a Sun and Moon promo, the armored Mewtwo, and obviously this is a direction that they could take. I don't know if they're going to do the armored Mewtwo, but that would be very cool. Once again, depending on how they handle it, I don't know. I'm excited, but also like a little reserved. Like I'm very excited for the set, but I don't know. I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't get my hopes up quite too much. But this is another really nice looking card. You can see this card's grown quite a bit in the past year. A lot of these cards probably growing from speculation of the set, but the Armored Mewtwo is a nice Sun and Moon promo. And this was a recent one. It's not really Rocket related or Giovanni related in any way, but very popular Mewtwo card from Crown Zenith, obviously fighting Charizard. Pose wise, art wise, very cool, super stunning. Love this card a lot. This is a top tier Mewtwo card that we've gotten recently. And then if you keep going back, here's Shining Legends. You got the Mewtwo in the Tube, which is a super cool card as well. Obviously, extremely iconic, nostalgic, all of that stuff. Very nice looking card. And this one shot up recently too, up 45% in the past 3 months. And then if we look at the year, it's up 132%. With this coming recently, I don't know how much of this is coming out of speculation for the newer set or not. With Mewtwo being featured, but card being up big, and then we have this was the 151 card. This was a promo on the English side, but this is one that I liked a lot. I think this is a super cool card. I really wish it wasn't kind of a promo, but still, art wise, I love him just like floating above the city. You kind of just see his back right there. I think this is a super cool card. I don't know, art wise, darker wise, it's got like a darker tone to it. And so this is just another really nice Mewtwo card. This one's a promo and it's up 57% in the past 3 months. Going from 10, it shot all the way up to as high as 17. Still not very expensive, because these were mass printed in the premium collection, but it is up percentage wise pretty big. And if we zoom out on the 1 year, obviously, look back here, $1.40. This was $1.40 card, which was crazy at the time, and now we're at like $15, so 975% gain on the Mewtwo. So it was very unfortunate. Like people just, it didn't have the value. People didn't really care about it because it was everywhere, and those UPCs were at the time, plentiful and cheap. So, but it is a very nice Mewtwo card art wise. And then last one to talk about, we even got one in Pokemon Go, kind of similar to this one during the daytime. Not Pokemon Go, not the strongest set. They didn't do Pokemon Go justice. Frustrating set for me because Pokemon Go was huge. It was really big in bringing me back to Pokemon in 2016. It really got my attention focused back on Pokemon. And yeah, it was just kind of a letdown of a set for how good and like revolutionary the game was, because everyone's out there playing Pokemon Go. It was such a fun time. But this is an alternate art from that set, and it's okay. Like I do like this card. I do think it's cool. Obviously, I think this one's much better looking, but an alt art card from Pokemon Go. So this is kind of what we've seen from Mewtwo, and I think I don't know if they get anything art wise that's like a little bit like this or with the armored. I don't know. I think there's a lot they could do. I'd like the darker feel, darker tone personally. So we'll see where they take it. And then lastly, there is the Moltres card where we've recently seen the full art, but we haven't seen the special illustration rare either. So if they really hit these out of the park between the Nidoking, the Mewtwo, and the Moltres, and then you compare it with what they did with the Heatwave Arena side, for me, the Ho-Oh, the Typhlosion, all the Misty stuff, and then like the Ethan stuff. And I was a Pokemon Gold kid growing up, so the Ho-Oh does do a lot for me. And we've gotten a lot of Lugia love, more recently as well. So I like seeing that, and so it does bode for me. I realize that not everyone is going to be a Ho-Oh fan. The collector side of me is excited, and I do genuinely think that if they, and we're looking at the Rockets Moltres from Gym Heroes here, which is another nice looking vintage card in my opinion. If they do this card with the Nidoking and the Mewtwo, if those end up being really nice cards, I think that the set is going to be regarded pretty highly. But at the same time, I can totally understand why people, are a little hesitant in saying that it's not really going to fully live up to the hype. And it was very hyped. It's very hyped. It's the first set in a while that I've been like super excited about. And there has been a little bit of a drop for me because I was really hoping for a Gyarados card, SIR, whether that was going to come from Rocket or Giovanni or even Misty, but we were not getting that. So that's a little bit down. It was like I was up here and it brought me down a little bit. And so we'll have to see, because if the truth of it is, if they flop the Moltres, if they flop the Mewtwo, and if they flop the Nidoking, it probably would be. It's going to come down quite a bit for me. I'm still going to like the set, I think, a decent amount, but it's not going to be as much of a hype set. So that is the pros and cons of speculating before we've even seen the cards. The cards haven't even been fully revealed, but later this week we should have the full reveal of everything. So that is kind of exciting. And let me know if you guys agree or disagree. Can these cards sway you if you've already been like, it's not that good of a set? Can it sway you the other way, or can it ruin it for you? So yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are, because I do value your guys' opinion. I do think it's relevant to talk about in the comments and kind of get everyone's perspective on the set moving forward. So that's all I have for you guys in this one. There's a little bit of a reveal and a little bit of a speculation, because like I said, I have seen that more negative comments and sentiment about the set more recently. Yeah, so when your expectations are like so high, it's really hard to hit, just in general, right? And so I think it was going to be very tough for them to do, but we'll see. There's still a lot that had to be revealed, so maybe it gets redeemed. And stuff being very expensive too. There's a lot of factors at play here. But that's all I have for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And remember, it was never a phase.